Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you grabbed a snack, stay for a while and click the subscribe button. I would love to have you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. So as you can tell by the title of the video, it is a full face of Miss Chanel. So we're going to do a little bit of a get ready with me. I'm going to use all of the Chanel products that I have in my collection, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the brand as a whole with what I own. Of course, they have so much more to offer, but it's a pretty expensive brand, so I don't have everything they have to offer. And I recently, I want to say within the last year and a half, started dipping my toes into the brand. So if you want to know if I think Chanel Beauty is worth your money, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, my lovelies, as you can tell, I'm in a different setting today. So this is my official filming area. I kind of started slowly moving things around. It's not quite ready yet, but it's ready enough for me to be in here and film. My twins' bedroom is right next door, so hopefully that'll be okay. They are currently, at least I hope they're napping. Tomorrow is daylight savings and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so this should be my new setup for a little bit until I figure it out. There is some stuff on the floor. Hopefully you can't see it. Yes, so FYI. There's not too many things in here, so you might hear a slight echo. That's why. Okay, so we're going to start with foundation. I already prepped my skin. Skincare was done a couple of hours ago, and then I did go in with primers. If you've been here for a while, you know I am a primer gal. So I went into my Wet n Wild primer serum. This is like the third bottle that I will be going through of this stuff. I just kind of use it to bring back moisture into my skin before I go into my primers. I went into this Maybelline Master Prime for the primers of my face and the Danessa Myrix for my T-zone. So I own two different Chanel foundations. This is the Ultra Latent. I believe this is like their soft matte or like natural finish foundation. And then this is the Numero 1 de Chanel. This one I think is also like a soft matte natural finish, but this is from that line that has like skincare ingredients in it. So we're actually going to do this side for the Numero 1 and this side for the Ultra Latent. B30 for both of these. They're not the same shade, I don't think. You could tell this one's maybe a tiny bit more neutral and this one maybe has a little more peachiness to it. I definitely don't feel they're the same shade, but I think we'll be okay. Okay, so we're going to start with this side for the Numero 1, and it is a pump. This foundation, I'm not 100% in love with it. I have tried many different methods, sponge, whatever, different primers, and it just never wowed me. But it is a decent one. A lot of the YouTubers I watch actually ended up loving this Numero 1 de Chanel foundation. I just didn't. It does have that typical Chanel scent, just FYI. I did also put a little bit of this e.l.f. Halo Glow like right around here, since these are more of a soft, natural, soft matte kind of finish. I felt like bringing a tiny bit of glow into my base. By the way, this is the Sonia G Jumbo Base brush. It's one of my favorite foundation brushes. Okay, that's what it's looking like. Foundation, no foundation. I feel like it might be just a tiny bit too light for me right now, but it's okay. I've even been able to make it work during summer. Now I'm going to jump into the Ultra Latent, and I feel like this one, it just looks a tiny bit darker than the Numero 1, and it could be because of the skincare in it. I think the skincare does actually lighten up the shades of the foundation. Like, yeah, see, it even looks a tiny bit more like warm and dark when I apply this, but that's all right. we'll be fine. We'll make it work. I'm just going to jump into the same brush because it's not like I'm doing comparisons. And then also when I link everything down below, I'll put the prices of everything. Like I said, Chanel is a pretty expensive brand. You know, it is a luxury brand. I want to make sure that I let you know how much everything costs down below. Also has the typical Chanel scent. I feel like most of the creams and all that is scented. It's going to be scented. I haven't tried any of like the skincare stuff, so like primers and whatnot, but I'd imagine that they're scented as well. It's nice that this brand is offered at Ulta, which is awesome. You cannot buy Chanel at Sephora. Okay, so here is both sides. You can't tell much of a difference in shade. I feel like this one's still a tiny bit lighter, but not by much. Right now I feel like the Chanel Numero Un side looks just a little bit more mattifying than the Ultra Latent, but they're actually both laying down beautifully. Yeah, so I want to say I probably used about 1/3 of a pump for each side, and that's perfect for how I like my foundation and the coverage. Okay, now we're going to jump into the concealer, and it's Le Corrector, which is like corrector in French. So they have the concealers, and then they have actual like under eye correctors. I picked up the shade B20. It's a tiny bit light. I honestly need B30, but I can make it work. And when I first tried this, I fell in love with this concealer. It just laid down so beautifully, melted into my skin. Now that I'm in a dry climate, the last time I tried this, which was not long ago when I did that Chanel review for the new jumbo palettes, I was not loving as much as I remember loving both this foundation and this concealer. But today they're actually, or at least the foundation so far, is acting great. Now let's see if this concealer will perform as I remember it performing. It blends out so easily. Literally, you have to put little to no effort and it'll blend out. That is one of the things that I definitely love about this concealer. And this is the Sonia G Mini Base. I think the brush that I used with it last time had a lot to do with how I was liking the concealer, because today it's definitely performing a lot more like I remember it performing. Literally, it's just blending out like a dream and melting into my skin just like how I remember, which makes me happy. So yeah, sometimes brushes do matter in how your products will perform. Okay. Yeah, everything is looking great. This concealer is performing like I remember it performing when I fell in love with it. It's a really good one. Okay, here is what the base is looking like. Let me get you in closer so you can see the concealer. Okay, so there is the concealer. It looks really pretty, almost like I have barely anything on. I'm so glad that the foundation and concealer are performing how I remember, because the last time I used it, it was not, I was not happy, and I was a little sad that maybe these products aren't going to be working for me in this dry climate, but today they actually look beautiful like I remember. Next is cream bronzer. All right, and I do own the Le Beige Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream. I have it in shade Tan Medium. They only had one shade available, and then they came out with a second shade, which was like your tan to deep complexion. bronzing shade, and then they came out with a medium. They did it all backwards, but this is the medium, so the middle shade out of the only 3 that they offer. All right, this is a Morphe Ariel A58, and I'm just sticking my brush in here. You could tell that I've definitely given this some love. Is it my absolute favorite cream bronzer? No. It's okay. It's decent. I don't think it's worth the price tag, honestly. It's kind of like a gel consistency. So it's not like the Charlotte Tilbury or what other one? Like the Rose Ink. It's a very like jelly kind of consistency. Yeah, it's like slippery. It's a decent formula. I enjoy it. I mean, if you been wanting to try it, I don't think you would be disappointed. I wouldn't pay, well, I don't know. Honestly, you do get a lot of product, so just know it's a good one, just not my favorite. Okay, I did already set my under eyes and I used my Makeup Forever HD loose powder. I do have a Chanel loose powder. This is the Natural Finish loose powder, and I purchased the shade Natural Finish, just kidding. I believe light medium. I think it's the second lightest shade. It doesn't say it on here, but I had some Ulta money, some points, a certain amount of money. By the way, the aesthetics of Chanel, I do enjoy it. I think it's very simple but classy. I enjoy it. Here is, she's a big boy. I purchased the shade, does it say on here? It just says 20, but I do remember light medium is the shade. It's the second lightest shade, and it looks like this was made in Francia. I do enjoy like the Coco Chanel logo. It's really just pretty. It's classic, I guess. It's almost nostalgic in a way. Okay, so it does come with a little puff, which is great. I use these for my under eye. And it does have like your traditional sifter. So like I mentioned, I have never tried this powder. It'll be my first time. So if you have tried it, let me know if you like it. I would love to know. Typical Chanel scent. So I'm going to dip my brush in here. This is the BK Beauty 104. This is what I use to powder my whole face. Hopefully it's a good powder. Okay. Ooh, okay. It's blurring. It's blurring my skin, which is nice. It's very lightweight. Very lightweight. Very finely milled. I'm swiping it right here. Yeah, it like melts into my skin. So even though this is light medium, I don't feel like it has too much pigment to it. It's pretty translucent, which is great. That's how I like my loose powders. So far, I'm enjoying this. It does look very smoothing. Very pretty. Okay, so we're going to move on to the eyes, and I did go into my MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. I only own 2 of the little quads from Chanel, and then I recently reviewed the eye and face palette. It's basically an eyeshadow and like a blush palette all in one, but that one, the tones in there run a little bit more on the red side. Like that's what inspired this launch right here. I don't want red on my eyes today, so we're gonna skip on that one for the eyes. Okay, so this one here is, I believe, a limited edition one, and this one was made in Italia, and it is the 747 Mediterranee. I think it's Mediterranean, and I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly, but as you can tell, it's like an olive kind of color story. And then I believe this one here is part of their like permanent line, 79 spices. Okay, so I think I'm just going to use both and see how it goes. I feel like the formulas are a tiny bit different. The Mediterranee, this one, I feel if you wet some of the shadows, it performs a tiny bit better. I haven't wet any of these from the Spices palette, but let's just get started. And I'm going to use a small little precision brush that's kind of stiff because I feel like with Chanel, you really have to build up the pigment. I think I'm going to start with the brown shade in the 79 Spices palette. So, oh, this is an e.l.f. crease brush. And I'm going to put this in the outer corner. It's going to be a very simple eye look. I don't have too much time and I don't want this video to be 40 minutes long because I don't even have that many Chanel products. But as you can see, it looks super dark in the pan, but once you actually put it on the eyes, you don't get what you see. Okay, now we're going to jump into the Mediterranee, and I think I'm going to use this shade here. The other ones look like they have more of an olive tone, and that one has like a bronzy, brassy kind of golden tone, and I think it'll go okay with this brown. Okay, this is the e.l.f. blending eye brush. It's like the same shape, just a tiny bit bigger, but it's also, I feel like a little more stiff, which works better with these shades that you have to build up. And I'm just going to use that on the edges of this brown. And then a tiny bit in the crease. You really have to build these shades up. I feel like you either enjoy Chanel palettes or you don't. And it's okay if you don't. Okay, I did add a tiny bit of glitter glue, and I'm going to jump into this shade here from the Mediterranee. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's kind of like a topper shade. Did I say I put glitter glue? Mostly to prevent fallout because this shade does have shimmer in it. So pretty. Okay, now I'm going to jump into my Fix Plus, putting a tiny bit on the back of my hand. This is a Natasha Denona Draw and Diffuse brush. I'm using the side that has like the pencil brush, dipping it into the MAC Fix Plus. Then I'm going to use the lightest shade in this 79 Spices, which is like a champagne-y kind of silvery shade. And it's gonna go right into the inner corner. Okay, I went ahead and did my eyebrows off camera. I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencil, and then I did go in with some mascara. I used the e.l.f. Lash and Roll and the MAC Extended Play Giga Black. I always mix mascaras. Okay, now we're going to jump into this eye and face palette. I have the what is it, 957 Tendresse. I think I'm going to jump in to nude shade, but I'm going to mix it. Let's mix it with the burgundy shade. It's because of the eye look. I don't feel peachy really looks. Okay, this is a Sonia G Soft Face brush, and I'm just dipping into both of them. Oh, I haven't even used my jumbo bronzer. I'll use it here in a minute. So pretty. So far, this formula is really nice. I think I'll probably be using this more as a face palette. So like blush and highlight rather than an eyeshadow palette. And I will say that when it comes to Chanel and eye looks, even though I do have to build up the pigment, even though I have to be very strategic about the brushes I use and all of that, the eye look just comes out so timeless, you know? You kind of learn to appreciate that. So even though I complain about having to build up the pigment, I cannot deny that this eye look is absolutely beautiful. Bronzer before I do the highlight real quick. So I do own, this is the oversized Healthy Glow Sun Kiss powder in medium. I believe there's 3 shades available. I don't think this one is available at Ulta. I'll link everything down below. Okay, so like I said, shade medium, there's 3 shades available. Typical Chanel scent. The eyeshadow palettes, they don't have a scent, but this powder bronzer does. And you can tell that I've definitely used this. It's not the best out there. Honestly, I think it's too expensive for what it is. This is the Sigma and Brianna Fox 5. if you are looking for a luxury brand bronzer, or if you've been interested in this Chanel one, I do enjoy it. It's just, I think there's definitely better out there, worth the price than this one. I don't think they should have made it this big, honestly, and like charged as much as they do for it. Okay, and now for highlight, we're going to jump into the shimmery shade in this palette. I don't own an individual blush and I don't own an individual highlight from Chanel. I do know that they have the balmy consistency, both blush and highlight. I've just never purchased one and never really interested me. And then I do know that they have a really big, almost jumbo highlight, but I believe it's like a brassy gold, and the color just did not interest me at all. So I was actually pretty excited when this face and eye palette was announced, because I'm killing 3 birds with 1 stone, you know? It's a big jumbo palette of 3 blushes, 1 highlight, and you can use it on your eyes as well. So that's blushes, highlight, and eyeshadow in one, which is awesome. As you could tell, this is a very pretty, subtle kind of peachy, pinky highlight. So pretty. I've really been enjoying it. Okay, and last but certainly not least is the lips. I did end up picking up one of the lip liners. This is just a long wear lip pencil, 516 Beige Natural. What the packaging looks like. And you get the lip liner, and you also get a little sharpener, which is great. Okay, there it is. Very fancy. There's the... Okay, so it's going to be like a natural pinky nude, and it does have a little lip brush at the other end, which I thought was neat. I also have a lipstick here. It's part of the Le Comet collection, Terre d'Etoile 108. I don't think this shade is going to go with the lip liner, but we can try it. See how the lip liner is lighter than the lipstick. Maybe if I feather it out. So let me do the lipstick first. And I don't even think this goes with this eye look, but it's okay. Let's just see. I do enjoy this formula. It's like the satin matte. It's the velvet formula, yeah, so like a satin kind of matte, I feel like. Such a pretty, pretty shade. I'm going to use the little lip brush from... Okay, now let's see how this lip liner looks. Okay, so it's soft, but not too soft. It reminds me of a mixture between MAC and Charlotte. Let me use my finger first. Yeah, okay, so it definitely feels like it's going to be long lasting, which is nice. Okay, so here is the finished makeup with a full face of Chanel Beauty. Well, almost full face. I don't own any brow products or mascara from Chanel. If you have tried them, let me know down below what you think. Do you think they're good? Not worth your money? There's better out there for a cheaper price? Let me know. Setting spray, I don't know if they have any setting spray. I normally forget anyways to put on setting spray. Out of all of the steps in makeup, that is the #1 that I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't put setting spray today. So I haven't put any setting spray, and I probably won't. But let me bring you in closer so we can take a closer look at the makeup and just how everything's looking. So this eye look actually came out so pretty. I'm impressed. I'm glad I decided to mix the 2 palettes and use both of them together, because they actually do mesh well. And even though, like I mentioned earlier, with Chanel, I feel like you really do have to pack it on to see the pigment on the eyes. I cannot deny that the eye looks always turn out just so timeless, so almost ethereal, just very pretty. This eye look is stunning. I'm loving it. This is something I could see myself wearing to a special occasion, even like a wedding. The base is looking bomb.com. That makes me happy. It definitely looks a tiny bit heavier than I normally go for, but when I'm picking up Chanel, it's usually for a special occasion, but it still looks like my skin, none the least, so I'm not mad about it so far. Everything is looking good. Concealer under eyes, blush, bronzer. It's all looking gorgeous. Okay, so let's talk about Chanel as a whole. Number one, it's a luxury brand. Expect to pay expensive prices. But the good news is that we can shop it at Ulta now. I feel like Ulta has definitely been stepping it up and bringing luxury brands into the store because I feel like Sephora had that going for them where they had exclusive luxury, more expensive brands that Ulta didn't have to offer. Now Ulta offers Dior, Chanel, Natasha Denona. Maybe Charlotte Tilbury is next, you know? For me personally, I prefer the point system that Ulta has over Sephora. The lip liner and the powder, I used my Ulta points to pay for some of my purchase. So it's nice. It's nice to not have to put your own money out of your pocket to get items. And Ulta's point system is just better, and Chanel is available at Ulta, which is great. So I definitely feel like Chanel's strong suit would be the complexion products, even though they definitely need to work on their shade range. And I feel like that's a common theme when it comes to these luxury brands. When it comes to their complexion products, the shades they have to offer are not that great. They have definitely worked on their shade range when it comes to the foundations and the concealers, but I feel like in other areas they still need to get a tiny bit better. Like the powders, I think there was only like 4 or 5 different options. The bronzer, the jumbo bronzer, there's only 3 shades available. That's not enough. Same with the cream, only 3 shades available. Definitely not enough. And with these face and cheek palettes, there's only 2 options. One for light, which is the one I have, and then one for darks complexions. And there's a red blush in there, which I could see working for like tan and deep individuals, but like they need a variety. They don't just want a red blush, you know? I think they need to work on their shade range all around, not just with a couple of things. I do feel like they have a good variety of lip shades for lipsticks and lip liners. I don't own any. I don't even think they have glosses. Do they have glosses? They have liquid lips. They have quite a bit that I haven't tried, but I feel like I've tried a good amount to actually know or give my opinion of what I think about the brand. I think Chanel is a good brand. They definitely have things they need to work on. And if you feel like splurging on some items, just do your research. Watch as many videos as you can. Make sure the YouTubers that you're watching have the same taste in makeup that you do. And you should be good to go on purchasing whatever you think you might like. Because I feel like Chanel is also a collector's item. So I can totally understand just collecting Chanel products. I could see the interest in that. But overall, I'm not upset with anything that I own from Chanel. Okay, my lovelies, well, I hope you enjoyed this little get ready with me using Chanel Beauty. I hope this video was helpful, and in case you had any questions or thoughts about a product and I happen to use it today, hopefully I helped you in making up your mind whether you want to pick up the product or not. Ulta 21 days of sales is coming. Chanel will not be part of that. And Sephora VIP sale is also coming, but I feel around the holidays, Nordstrom, Macy's, Saks, all of those big retailers do usually have sales on makeup, but I want to say it's very rare that Chanel is included in those sales. Yeah. With that being said, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea. All the comments, all the likes, if you use my links to shop, it truly all means the world to me. You have no idea. Okay, well, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and you would definitely help me out in the algorithm of hopefully bringing some new and fresh eyes to my channel. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you joined my small YouTube family by clicking the subscribe button. I would love to have you. Okay, my lovelies, I will see you on the next video. Bye.